Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah. Riding with country bass. Yeah, I'm stacking them, yeah, yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Bitcoin Chris checking in. I am setting up at the library. It started to rain. I was going to do this live stream outside, but it started to rain. So I had to run inside. So let me get set up here. But Bitcoin is pumping. Let me see if I can get the charts up for you guys real quick. I don't have my charger from my laptop, or else I would be on the laptop right now. I could see if I could be on there for a little bit. But my goal today was just to go over a couple of the things here. So let me see if I don't think my laptop's dead, so I can't even do that. All right. Here we are. All right. What's up, everybody? We're going to, and this phone is almost dead. We are going to be checking out BTC. I know my thing is mirrored, so let me unmirror this. Boom, there it is. I'm going to be showing you guys some paperwork. And then, like I said, my laptop is dead, so I can't get on the laptop. All right, but first we're going to jump into the Bitcoin price, the Bitcoin price, the Bitcoin price. We are looking at Bitcoin, and we are at 109, 180, high of 109, 730. We are looking to go to the target of, first target for me is 111. And then let's zoom out here. 4 hour time frame. First target is 110 to 111, which is what I have already notated here. I have this indicator on. Let me take it off. Boom. We're looking at the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. We got BTC headed up. 4 hour green dot did pop up. Looks like we could come down a little bit though, but we're looking pretty strong. BTC looks pretty good. We're gonna look at the 2 hour time frame. 2 hour looks pretty good as well. Green dot, as you can see down here at the bottom for Great Market Cipher. And if, as you can see here, if you just would have went long at the green dot, just right here, you would have made some money. And pretty simple. We have our 20 and 200-day moving average, which I learned from Oliver. Shout out to Oliver. Uh, yeah, we're definitely about to go on a run, in my opinion. Let's look at the daily real quick. Look at that strong daily candle that did come back. Look at BTC coming back. It does look like an inverse head and shoulders. If you look at this right here, and you zoom out a little bit more, I think we can even zoom out to the weekly, but this would be your shoulder here. Head there, shoulder here. And then we will take our target, which would be from this neckline down, boom. And then we would do a target of 144. Target of 144 for BTC. As a possible option. So BTC could possibly head to 144, 145 if we can continue to head up and pump here. I'm at the library, aka the Melrose Center, where they have, the booths that I'm usually in, and then they have the recording studio, they got the photo booth, they got pretty much everything in here that you could utilize to do anything that you want media wise. All right, so boom, BTC. Target is looking like 145. All right, cool. Boom. So that's that. Because again, I'm not on the laptop, not going to be able to go into Coin Glass and look at all the things that I usually look at. I'll save that for tomorrow's video. However, looking pretty good on BTC right now. Not going to lie. We do have a green dot that did pop up here because we did have a red dot that popped up on the daily. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So we had a red dot, head fake, right? And then green dot. Boom. I'm at the library. All right, so boom. All right, we're headed up. Boom. All right, cool. So that's that. Bitcoin looking good. DCA, you shouldn't even be worried about the Bitcoin price right now. You should be mad, right? You should be upset if the Bitcoin price goes up because you have less Bitcoin and less Satoshis that you're able to buy. You should be excited when Bitcoin goes down because it's on sale, right? So boom. All right, so I'm gonna teach you guys a little bit of something. I'm gonna show you guys some of my trust documents, even though I shouldn't, but I'm going to because I know you guys have been looking and asking and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a few of these things. I got a lot of paperwork. Too much paperwork. It's because I gotta send copies of everything to certain companies and whatnot, but disregard the paperwork. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to be looking at the trust documents here, even though it's a private trust. I'm gonna show you guys some of the documents because some people keep asking me about it. So I'm gonna show you guys about it. Let's see. I'm only gonna go over a couple different sections here because I wanted you guys to read and see what I did in my trust, and then hopefully you guys can get the drift. All right. Let me find it here for you guys, and then I'll read it with you guys. All right, so here's a good little excerpt. I have the Constitution of the Trust. So I guess I'll start with that because that's pretty dope. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, let me see if I can turn this camera, but this camera's been acting up. All right, looks like it's working. All right, cool. So let's just go ahead and read here. So the Constitution of the Church, right? I have the Church Trust has a Constitution, right? And so here it says the name of this ecclesiastical body shall be King Jesus and the Satoshi Revival, here and after. Yeah, my camera's acting up. Here and after, uh, known as or named, referred as the Church Trust. Boom. All right, so the Church Trust operates under the authority of the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America and is structured as a what? 508c1a religious organization. The Church Trust is unincorporated, which means it's not registered with the state. It's an unincorporated, non-statutory, and not subject to the jurisdiction of any corporate or civil authority except by voluntary contract. That means that there is no statutes at large, no statutes in general, right? That I'm held to or that the church is held to, and it's not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Because you guys have to understand the United States and the United States of America are two different places. Okay, you are a U.S. citizen because we all were given a birth certificate, and that's not the way our names are spelled. But I'm not diving into that today. Anyways, so that's the Constitution, a little bit of the Constitution. So let's continue because I want to get to the meat and potatoes here. Meat and potatoes. Boom. Membership. So anybody that wants to join the church, I mean, it's really, to be honest with you, this is just for me and my people, and whoever wants to join can join. It's not like I said, I'm not trying to build a mega church or do anything like that. This is really for anybody who wants to, receive the benefits, right, of being God's children, right? Because we are God's children. Membership is open to all who profess faith in Jesus or Yeshua. Commit to follow biblical doctrine, support church with tithes, service, or spiritual gifts. Members shall not be obligated to any oath or allegiance contrary to the commandments of God. Boom. Membership is spiritual and voluntary, does not confer any taxable benefit or civil liability. So here, property and stewardship. Here it is. All property, tithes, offerings, donations, and accounts shall be held in trust for the benefit of who? The church. And the church is made up of who? The people, right? And the people that are of the congregation, right? So the trustees shall administer these assets in accordance to biblical principles and the needs of the body. No member or trustee shall profit in trust from the trust or personal enrichment. So pretty much this is allowing and setting we're setting the rules, right? You can create your own church trust, right, and set your own rules. So I'm pretty much just going over this quickly to give you guys an outline of what you guys are going to be able to do, or if you want to do that, right? Because I've been hearing it all the time, right? I've heard trust, and I've ignored it because I didn't really care, or I didn't really read about it, and then I read and learned about it, right? And then I got empowered, right, by learning. So boom, we're going to continue here. Let's see what else I have on here that I want to share with you guys. Besides the cryptocurrency financial policy, I'll go over that with you guys in just a second. This church trust is not created by the laws of men, but is recognized by the Constitution of the United States, Holy Scriptures, supreme rule and faith and practice, the inheritance of inalienable rights, and all living souls to worship their Creator without restriction. So I have the Bible verses in there as well to justify cryptocurrency financial policy, right? Boom. This was made what? The 6th of April. So this is not new. I've been telling you guys this. So the purpose establishes lawful and ecclesiastical guidelines for acquiring, holding, managing, trading, and using cryptocurrencies, digital assets, stocks, and other financial instruments under the authority of King Jesus and the Satoshi Revival Trust. Uh, Church Trust. The trust acknowledges evolving landscape of decentralized finance and financial markets as lawful mediums for holding church reserves, generating financial growth, and accepting donations and supporting ministry work. Boom. All trust income and gains derived from cryptocurrency, stock trading, and financial activities shall be used solely for ecclesiastical, charitable, education, and religious purposes. So by me establishing this, right, and I'm going to be able to utilize it to the benefit of the church, right? And that means helping people who are in the church, right? Right? Because we give everything to God and then God takes care of us. One of the benefits for this is that by default, a 508c1a is automatically tax exempt. So if you don't understand the power of that, I don't know what to tell you. That's like the main reason why you should, right? So here it says permissible use of financial gains. All realized gains, appreciation, or income from crypto stocks, trading, or financial activities shall be used exclusively for ministry expansion and outreach, acquisition of property, land, or facilities for worship, charitable giving, scholarship, support members in need, education, publishing, biblical teaching efforts, compensation, or support for church members and the trustee, trust investments consistent with long-term vision of the church. So this is pretty extensive and pretty broad use for the financial gains, whether it's from income, which is I can change that to revenue, but I guess you could say income, but it doesn't matter regardless. This is tax exempt. So anything that I get from, or not me, that God gets or the church gets from gains, from income, from crypto, from stocks, from trading, financial activities, can be used to what? Support the church and its members and the trustee, right? I'm the trustee. Church members or anybody that wants to join the church. So it's very powerful when you understand how to utilize a private contract and the law to benefit you and the beneficiaries and God's children, right? So we have that. I think that's the end of this that I want to go over. Yeah, so now I'll go over the church financial policy because somebody asked me to share it the other day and I wasn't able to. So I'm going to go over it with you guys here in just a second. Let me put this back up. All right, this is what I shared the other day with you guys on Twitter. I said I showed you guys the cryptocurrency financial policy because you can create the policies for your church and run the church however you want. And I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm doing. Uh, because I think it's very crucial that a lot of you get this information or at least start to look into it, start to learn, start to read about it, and then you can decide on if starting a church is good for you or not, right? And then you can also look at other trusts, right? Like irrevocable trust, living trust, church trust and dynasty trust. Those are next level stuff. But if you're not really like introduced, or if I'm not showing you these type of things, because I don't know anybody really. I know one other person talking about it, but she's like, I don't know. I know one other person talking about a church trust. Actually, two people. I know two people talking about this, and that's it. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue. This policy establishes lawful ecclesiastical guidelines for acquiring, holding, managing, trading, and using cryptocurrency, digital assets, stocks, and other financial instruments under the authority of King Jesus and the Satoshi Revival Church Trust. The trust acknowledges the evolving landscape, just like the same thing I put in the previous uh, outline that we just read, but this is a little bit more in depth, right? And it gives So the great thing is that the church and all incomes derived from cryptocurrency, same thing, right? It shall be used solely for ecclesiastical, church, charitable, educational, and religious purposes. The church trust engages in lawful financial stewardship, including cryptocurrency trading and stock market investing, to advance the mission of the church and provide benefits to its members, leaders, and trustee. We already talked about that. This is just a outline, but the financial policy. Specifically, the policy is governed by the principles of fiduciary trust law and the First Amendment of the Constitution and the financial commandments of the scriptures, Proverbs and Luke. So, financial assets permitted, right? We got BTC, we got ETH. Obviously, we're not going to really hold any other um, assets except for Bitcoin, but we can trade ETH, and we can, if we wanted to, hold stable coins. We got public stocks and equities. We got any assets or product. Let me just open this up because again, I want to read this to you guys. any product, asset, or service approved by unanimous decision of the trustee that furthers the kingdom of God. The church trust is authorized to accept donations in Bitcoin, all fiat currencies, USD, Europe, all digital currencies, including legally recognized cryptocurrencies or blockchain assets. All wallets, brokerages, accounts, and financial instruments shall be titled and labeled under the church trust name to securely protected by multi-signature or hardware security. Boom. And then here's the use of the proceeds. And of course, we got to keep an accounting. Private ledger, all digital assets, activities must be documented, of course. Assignment and beneficiary. So we got some beneficiaries on there, right? And boom, church trust, right? And then we got the Schedule A. Schedule A is your assets. So when I transfer any assets to the church trust, we have to put it on a Schedule A, right? You got to learn these things. Schedule A, Schedule B, beneficiary, Schedule C, I think is the liabilities, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then when you do go, so what you can do is you guys can, it's not hard to open up a trust, guys. So you just have to do it the right way, right? And so once you open up a trust, you create a declaration of trust. Just a little one pager, one or two pager about the operation and the creation of the trust. Again, this was created in April. So then you take this to the bank, and then you go get a church bank account, right? And you can do a trust banking resolution, which is not required, but I did it anyway. And then declaration of ecclesiastical gift and receipt of Bitcoin because I donated all my Bitcoin. So this is the play now. Hope you guys paying attention. I donated all my Bitcoin to the church, right? So I no longer own any Bitcoin. Well, I lost my Bitcoin on a boat in 2021. So I don't have any Bitcoin anyway. If I did have any Bitcoin, it would be given to the church, right? And by giving it to the church, it is therefore tax exempt and under God's authority. And if I needed to do anything or wanted to utilize it, I could utilize it in the way that I wanted to. Boom. So that's that. We got some personal information here. Let me see if I can show you. What else can I show you guys? Yeah, hello. Yes, I'm live streaming until you get here. No, but we can stop by the little spot that we went to. All right, call me when you get here, and I'm almost done with the live anyway. I just want to go over a couple things. All right, love you too. All right, cool, boom. Revocation of power of attorney. So I'll go over a couple little things here with you before I get up out of here. Before I get on up out of here. Um, if you guys didn't know, a lot of these agencies, the reason why a lot of us be getting in trouble and can't do things that we want to do, especially when it comes to the bank account and all this stuff, you guys are not really too familiar with the stuff that I'm talking about. But if you are, then you would know that a lot of these agencies have power of attorney over our accounts, right? So over our accounts, which means the IRS, right? We have the Secretary of State, we have U.S. Department of State, we got the Florida Secretary, we got the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles, we have the Florida Attorney General, United States Attorney General. We just want to put everybody, all agents, attorneys, third-party debt collectors, they have some sort of implied power of attorney, whether you explicitly gave it to them or not. It is kind of implied. So you would want to revocate or revoke their power of attorney. So, it's something that's very powerful once you start to dive into what I'm diving into, which is knowing your rights and getting to a place where you can operate much differently than how we've been raised to operate, right? Operating in private, operating as a banker. We're bankers, guys. We're private bankers. We have the opportunity and power to do a lot of things, but we're scared. We don't know that we can do a lot of things. So affidavit of signature, commercial ownership, and authority to direct interest, aka credits. We live in a debt-based society, but we're over here slaving for a debt-based dollar to pay a debt. We have a debt to pay a debt. We have a debt-based system and a debt-based money and system, and then we're over here slaving for a debt note to pay a debt. When the only thing that can extinguish a debt is a credit. Every credit has a debit. Every debit has a credit. So with that being said, I have a couple different things in here that I want to show you guys. Declaration of authenticity. No, that's not what I want to show you. Affidavit of ownership. Boom. Okay. I keep telling you guys that the all capital name on your ID is not your name. It's your legal fiction, right? And if you guys don't understand that by now, you have to do some more research. Your name is your last name, surname, comma. Do I have my? I don't even have it. I don't have my passport. On my passport, it says your first name, your last name is first, and then your first name, right? But on our birth certificates, it's spelled in all caps, and then your first, middle, last name. That's not you. That's your legal fiction. So that's something that you're gonna have to learn a little bit more about, because this is definitely not the first time that I've talked about it or spoke about it, but we need to do more research, right? Public notice. So this is what I'm gonna put out in the public in the newspaper, and then I'm also gonna record this, right? Notice of security interest and private trust claim, right? Let it be known that all public, private, municipal, corporate, administrative, and commercial entities. This serves as a lawful public notice that all rights, titles, interests, and proceeds derived from my name, the estate, the assets, commercial papers, and derivative identifiers as the legal name known as, which is on my birth certificate, right? My full name that they have on the birth certificate is an estate. And because we don't know that it's a trust, and that the U.S. Treasury has power of attorney, and that we don't know how to be the executor or someone who is in control over the estate. Because I thought an estate was like, when I heard of the estate, I thought it was like these big old houses, right, where people are wealthy, and they have their own like living compound, right? They have their own big ass houses, right? That's what I thought like an estate was, like a big ass compound and big ass uh, housing complex by like one rich family, like has like 20 houses in there, and they all live together and they all have their own house. Like that's what I thought an estate was. But an estate is anything in your account, and your account is tied to your social security number, which is tied to your name, right? So when you understand these things, it's like, dang, we have an estate. I never knew we had an estate. The estate is all of our accounts. That's why anytime you open up an account, they require your social security number. And if you don't have your social security number, then what? You can't really open any accounts, right? But we've had accounts since we were born. So that means we have a lot of credits in those accounts, and because we can we can take control over the accounts and utilize. It's a game changer. So let me go ahead and had a call come in. Okay, boom. So affidavit of living man, you have to distinguish yourself as a living being, because they are automatically by default you are a dead corporation. Your name is in all caps, which represents and signifies a corporation. And a corporation is considered a dead entity. So you have to make yourself a living man and put it on the record, right? Affidavit. You have to look up the power of an affidavit and what an affidavit is. Google the stuff, the legal definition of affidavit, legal definition of estate, or definition of estate, right? Like little things like that. And a lot of our power doesn't really even come from what I think. This has come from what the Bible says, right? Because the Bible, I've talked to you guys about the Bible. I have the tweets on here, but the Bible is like public law. They made it like public law back in the day, right? So I'm not gonna be able to find the tweet because I'm sure it's like way down there. But the Bible is public law, right? And God's law is above all other laws. So a lot of you guys are again confused about the church because you think the church is about religion. It's not about religion, guys. It's about you moving how God designed and destined you to move. You're not supposed to be work like you guys don't find any issues or problems with going to work just to pay the bills for 40 years, 40 plus years. You guys think that's okay, and what God put us on earth to do is to work for 40 years just to pay bills? There's people that I know, family members as well, that have worked for a very long time and don't have anything to show for it. So this is all stemming from learning about money from Bitcoin. So once you start to learn about Bitcoin, then you start to learn about your rights, then you start to learn about what's really going on and contract law and credits. It's like you cannot you can't once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? So for me, I can't unsee this stuff. So everything's based on God's law, which is the governing law of not only the country but everybody, right? Common law, organic laws of the United States of America, et cetera, right? So affidavit of rejection of the legal fiction or ens legis is and the constructive trust, which is your all caps name, right? So you have to do a lot of deep diving, a lot of searching, a lot of research. Affidavit of authority, you got to have the authority, you got to put it on the record, guys. You have to declare these things, right? That you're the beneficiary, living heir, executor, right, of these names. You got to look up what's an executor. Google legal definition of executor, legal definition of beneficiary, or definition of living heir, right? Look these things up. I'm changing my name. I already told you guys I'm changing my name. So what is my name going to be? First name Bitcoin, last name Chris. It's already in the works. We got the irrevocable trust, right? Boom. We got the security agreement. Declaration for the irrevocable church trust, which is different from the church trust, right? Bitcoin Chris private trust, right? Got the bylaws, trust solution, affidavit of trustee, letter of instructions for the receipt, pledge agreements. I'm gonna put y'all on game, man. You can pledge assets, affidavits of tender. You know, man, I'm trying to tell you, I can try to like break it down for you, but it's not really going. It's not really going click until you absolutely read for yourself. 'Cause I can tell you everything right now, and it's still not going to click for you because you haven't read and you don't know your rights. So I want to show you guys a couple more things here, and then that's it for today's video. We have these things called negotiable instruments. Negotiable instruments are, oh, that's what I can show you guys. And then I'm gonna get up out of here. Let me show you this, and then I'm done. The point of this live is for you to do some research. Go look up what I'm talking about. Go Google what I'm talking about. And then you can then start to go down the rabbit hole of what's really going on. Where's it at? I don't know if I can find it. There's one of them. I'll retweet it. It says, yes, I asked it. Can a promissory note lawfully discharge a debt? A properly endorsed uh, a properly endorsed or constructed promissory note with for value received or accepted for value endorsed. It operates as a lawful tender of payment, a credit instrument, a negotiable instrument, a binding contract, and settlement tool. This is all governed by the UCC 3-603 and the UCC in general, because this is the universal commercial code based on the law merchant, right? And I don't see it here. Is it here? No, it's not in here. It's on my. Should be on my page. Look up what a bill of exchange is. Look up what a promissory note is, guys. Look these things up. I'm not just saying these things just to say these things. And if you don't, that's on you. It might not be in here either. I think I posted it on my story. And because I posted it on my story, it disappeared. Whoa, 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 whoa. Edit privacy. Edit privacy. I have to hide this from y'all, man. We see $1 million bonds. Don't know how to act. All right, cool. If it's not in my photos, then we're then okay. There it is. This is it, and then I'm out of here. I'm gonna read this for you guys, and then I'm out of here, and I'll share it on my Twitter page as well. What is a negotiable instrument? Simple explanation. A negotiable instrument is like a special type of IOU. Right here, IOU. It has the same legal power as cash. When you write a check, you're creating a negotiable instrument. When you create a bill of exchange, it's crazy, right? When you create a bill of exchange, let me focus, or a promissory note, which is a what? Promissory note. When you write a bill of exchange, or when you create a bill of exchange or promissory note to buy a car or house or whatever it is that you're buying, you're doing the same thing but with more legal protections. I know it's hard to read. I'm just reading it out for you. I'm going to share this. Think of cash, checks, and your negotiable instruments like three different types of keys that open the same door. The door is buying your car or paying for your car. Cash is like a regular key, a bank check is like a key card, and a negotiable instrument is like a master key that has extra powers and protections. Why it works. Federal law says all three types of keys, cash, checks, negotiable instruments have the same legal power to open the door, pay for things, aka pay for things. The dealership has to accept your master key just like it would accept a cash, check. Yeah. And so obviously most people don't know how negotiable instruments work. They've never seen promissory notes. They've never seen bills of exchanges. They don't know that you can create your own negotiable instruments because we haven't been taught these things. This is stuff that they do in private. These are private banking uh, stuff, right? And if you guys look and see, you got to be organized and you got to know what you're talking about, right? So, with that being said, this is just to spark some interest, spark you guys to learn a little bit more about trust law in general, your rights, church trust, and any and all things associated with it. All right, and then also real quick, here's the lawsuit binder. Right, here's the lawsuit binder. We got Funbox, we got Porsche, we got apartment complex, we got LVNV, we got Experience Training Union Equifax. Y'all already know, man. The lawsuit folder. So they're not going to just because you find all this stuff out, right? They've been taking advantage and raping you guys and raping everybody, right? For like the past ever, right? So you think they're just gonna allow you to just create negotiable instruments and not like say anything about it? They're gonna be like, nah, we don't accept this type of instrument, or we don't do this, we don't do that, right? But if you don't know how to sue and enforce your rights, yeah, they're gonna say that. They're gonna bully you because they know that you don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? But once you start to know what you're talking about, then you will be a okay. Can you cancel that? Thank you. Have a great day. Yeah, so these banks are bullies, right? They bully you guys every day. The cops are bullies. The government officials that you guys hire are bullies. They bully y'all. They be passing and saying a whole bunch of unconstitutional, stupid stuff, right? Stupid stuff, right? Simple, basic stuff like gun bans and stuff like. And people be running with it. Like y'all be running with the gun bans and y'all be running with the tyrants and try to have control over people that you're not allowed. Like a lot of things that you guys are not allowed to do, but because you don't know that you have a right to do things like create negotiable instruments, or that you have a right to bear arms or bear arms. Yeah, your Second Amendment right. You have a right to freedom of speech, right to record in public. You have a right to practice your quote unquote religion, right? But it's not about religion. It's about God's kingdom here on earth. Boy, once you started diving down this deep hole, this rabbit hole, that mixed in with Bitcoin, it's a game changer. So with that being said, Bitcoin Chris checking out. If you need help creating a church trust or a living trust or a irrevocable private trust just to protect your assets and everything that you have, send me a DM and we will get you set up properly. And I can teach you, or I can refer you to other people that can teach you. But you can't skip the hard work, guys. You're gonna have to study. You're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to do your own due diligence, because it's not a walk in the park. It's not as easy as it seems, and you have to know your rights and stand up for it. So if you don't know how to sue, don't be doing this. If you don't know how to stand up for your rights, don't be doing this. If you don't know